The Honorable Speaker, sir, Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Ministers and Assistant Ministers, Honorable Leader of Opposition, Honorable Members of Parliament, ladies and gentlemen, and to all the people of Fiji joining us through televised broadcast and around the world via Parliament Facebook Live. Misaya Nravinaka. Mr. Speaker, sir, may I join other members in Parliament in congratulating you on your election as Speaker of this August House and of the Deputy Speaker, Honorable Lenora Gernger Tambua, on the 24th of December 2022. Mr. Speaker, sir, this date has a lot of significance for me, not only because it was the day I was sworn in as a Member of Parliament, but because it was also the first time I entered this esteemed House. As a researcher working at the Office of the Leader of Opposition, I would only come as far as the corridors of this August House to deliver printed documents and resource materials for the members. Today, Mr. Speaker, sir, I am seated in this August House as a Member of Parliament and an Assistant Minister. Mr. Speaker, I would like to thank the party leader for the People's Alliance Party and our current Prime Minister for trusting me to be part of his candidate lineup in the 2022 general elections. A lot has been said about the outcome of the recent general elections, but one thing I know for sure is that the people of Ra have been crying for change for far too long, and now have rejoiced in the fact that two of their own are now their representative in this August House. After the 2014 and then the 2018 general elections, there was no representative from my province in Ra who made it to Parliament. I was studying in Japan in 2018 and saw how the outcome of the elections unveiled. Mr. Speaker, sir, the years followed saw the discrepancies in our political system, the lack of consultation, and the urgent need to review draconian legislations and policies that govern all aspects of government machineries. Almost a decade later, a daring daughter, wife, and a mother from Nambalambala Saivo in Ra decided that it was high time that the voices of her people had to be heard and represented in this August House. Mr. Speaker, sir, I look back and I attest to God's faithfulness, and in no way was my appointment as a researcher at the Office of the Leader of Opposition an accident. Who would have known? Only God knows. Just as he had assured us in his word in Proverbs 19:21 that we may have many plans in our hearts, but it's his purpose that always prevails. I would like to thank my Heavenly Father, the mighty God I serve, for his sense of direction and guidance, and for granting me the strength and wisdom to be where I am today. Mr. Speaker, sir, I would like to thank Naturangambale Tuivaau for his foresight and words of wisdom and encouragement. Sir. I would also like to thank His Excellency for his most gracious address and sharing with our beloved nation our plans and policies going forward as the coalition government. I would like to thank you for giving me the opportunity to contribute to the debate on the opening address of His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Fiji, Ratu William Maivaliili Katuniwere. Mr. Speaker, sir, there are a number of people that I wish to acknowledge, as they have been very instrumental in my upbringing and in my journey in fulfilling my political aspirations. My late paternal grandparents, Bumbu Matia and Bumbu Hula, who raised me for when I was at a tender age of 3. Leaving them in the village taught me a lot of lifelong survival skills and familiarized myself with my kinship ties. My late maternal grandmother, now Steri, who lived and looked after us in our home as my parents were sometimes away on duty travel, and cooked delicious home-cooked meals for us. My children were blessed to have known their great-grandmother, who at times took the liberty of looking after them as well. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to thank a special person who recently passed, my now Solsalu, who offered to raise my 3-month-old daughter when I had to leave for studies in Japan. my husband, Aminiasi, from Tambuya Nambukelevu in Kandavu, who has been my #1 support in my political journey right from day one. Encouraging me along the way and reminding me that nothing good comes easy. And if God is for us, who can be against us? Thank you for your love and all that you do, Tamay Sakyusa. My children whom I love dearly, Sakyusa, Sanaila, Ruth, Vasiti Lilian, Aloesi KD, and Makereta. My parents, Ralulu and Penina Virkiasawa, for their endless support and their assistance in assisting me with my my campaign trail. I thank them sincerely. My siblings, Goli, Vangi, Tuti, Sarah, Paula, and Vasiti, for their financial support and encouragement. Mr. and Mrs. Alitia Bainivalu, I thank you sincerely. Chove Ravlava, Seattle, USA, Esther Matalau, San Jose, USA, People's Alliance Party, USA. I thank them for their financial assistance. My ACSOL girls, Lillian sisters, and families and friends who I might have overlooked. Mr. Speaker, sir, growing up, there was never a time where we lived as a nuclear family. There were always relatives from Ra and Vanuatu at home with us to study, whether for their secondary or tertiary education. My mother was a strong advocate for education and was always willing to have relatives stay with us for the duration of their studies. So at a young age, Mr. Speaker, sir, I understood the value of education, building relationships with family and relatives, and to always have a lending heart to help others. I wish to especially acknowledge my relatives and those who honored me with their votes. One of the greatest experiences during the campaign period was the opportunity to meet and reconnect with my relatives and to understand the importance of being related to someone. What a wonderful experience it was. Mr. Speaker, sir, please allow me to thank my relatives in the villages of Tokaimalo na Lamban Saivo, Koro na Mbalambala, Unisea, na Ilawa, Maveikai, na Yaulevu, na Raviravi, na Iwutu, na Wuniaumunu, na Rauyamba, Maniava, na Vavai, na Tivi, Murelevu, na Mara. Barotu, na Wunimbitu Catholic Parish, Rokoroko, Vanua Natawia, Vanua Yavulevu, na Nukuloa, na Iserelangi, Waindoko, Mbotolu, na Nokonoko, na Moimanda, Rewasa, Vatukadeva, Vanua Mataso, na Korvou, na Rikoso, Vanua na Vitilevu, na Sau, na Yahuira, na Vunivi, Vendrala, Vanua na Kuilava, Toki, Tombu, Savulotu, Mbudalevu, Vanua Mbure Vanua, na Lindi, Vanua na Lawa, Vanua Kula, na Uria, Wainrata, na Sukamai. Veke munikeda na Kaivingu, Lavokai, Akokai, Lovarakai, Keke munikeda na Wekango na Nongesana wa Uranga ora. Santo na Ndoni Beba Veki Angoi, Sarua na Luvira sa Ikongoi Palimenti. Mendayandra Iko, Davi Aurulinga, Vakavakavaa, da Kuni Numileva Anya na Nondembole, Namae. Mr. Speaker, sir, I would also like to thank my maternal ties through the villages of Drekiniwai, Lea, Wunilangi, Tavilevu. Navalevu Emdo Edawe Angumenavatu. I would also like to thank my voters from all across Fiji and those who voted for me through postal ballot. I thank you all sincerely. Mr. Speaker, sir, on the same note, I congratulate all 55 members of Parliament for a hard-fought campaign and success in making it this far. I acknowledge the work and efforts of candidates of all political parties, particularly the candidates from Ra. Please allow me to thank them, Mr. Speaker, sir. Nakaivingu, Mr. Napoleon Nasara, Mr. Charles Silmaimbau, Mr. Kini William Salambongi, Miss Anna Naivo, Mr. Polias Matawalu, and Matawale Ratuchosaya Nyundamu. Mr. Speaker, sir, my outstanding campaign team deserves my greatest appreciation for their hard work and perseverance. Tataua, Tutoratu, Tutuavari, Nava, Uliano, Matia, Alumita, and Desawa. Wawin Vinakalewe Kondo. My hardworking polling agents who monitored and provided relevant polling information for the People's Alliance Party, Latileta, Evivi, Penny, Mere, Elisapedi, Liwa, Bolembole, Sereia, Kesaia, Seruia, Lavenia, Solomoni, Calveti, Nava, Uli, Alumita, and Matia. Mr. Speaker, sir, I am here today because of all the people I've mentioned above. If there's anything I would do to repay their sacrifices and hard work, it would be to pledge that I will do everything in my power to look after their interests. I joined one of only 5 women in Parliament today. As a wife and a mother, getting here was not easy. I stand here not only as a representative of Parliament or a representative of my party or community, but as a representative of the thousands of women and girls of Fiji who know are equally capable of standing where I am today. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is an honor for me to stand here as a member of Parliament under the coalition government of Fiji. Necessary formation of the 3 political parties to help, heal, develop, and move our country forward. The People's Alliance Party, the National Federation Party, and the Social Democratic Liberal Party put aside their differences to work together to move Fiji forward, for where there is unity, God will command His blessings. I support His Excellency's call for Fiji to be united now more than ever. As a nation, we are up against grave challenges: the impacts of climate change, globalization, economic downturns, all while still recovering. Mr. Speaker, sir, for someone who was raised in the village and has worked with several communities during the course of my career, I know the reality on the ground. I understand the everyday struggles of our people, and I recognize the need to empower them. Mr. Speaker, sir, I would like to thank the Honorable Prime Minister for his foresight and vision for United Fiji, a Fiji that is seeing a new dawn. As the Assistant Minister for Tourism and Civil Aviation, in the first few days of taking office and having met so many stakeholders, I have a much stronger appreciation of the industry and its contribution to Fiji's economy. The industry, our national airline, have all done wonderfully well. We can see this in the stellar recovery that has today allowed thousands of our people to return to the jobs they love. Mr. Speaker, sir, the tourism industry has exceeded expectations in terms of recovery. We went from 146,905 visitors in 2020, which was a 16% of the 2019 levels, to a recovery of 71% today. We have had record-breaking numbers for the month of July, September and November compared to 2019. We have never seen so many Australians in Fiji in a single month as we did in December last year. And we have had a good turnout from the New Zealanders, the Americans, and the Pacific Islanders as well. Mr. Speaker, sir, economic forecasts also show that high visitor numbers and related spending combined with high prices boosted tourism receipts, as per overseas exchange transaction records, reached just over 1.4 billion. So tourism truly is a multi-billion-dollar industry for us. The pandemic had obvious bearing on the global aviation industry. This not only impacted our tourism numbers, but trade as well in terms of cargo. Mr. Speaker, sir, last year, Fiji Airways carried a remarkable 1.3 million passengers. This is a testament to the airline's commitment to providing quality products and services to its customers. Based on the current booking trend and the overwhelming demand for Fiji as a tourism destination of choice, we envisage an even brighter future. It is our belief that 2023 will be an even more successful year, with passenger numbers and forward bookings expected to continue an upward trajectory. Mr. Speaker, sir, since the opening of borders and easing of travel restrictions, passenger air transport has been recovering well, with passenger numbers hitting almost 70% of pre-pandemic numbers. We know that a safe and secure aviation system goes a long way in ensuring passenger confidence and satisfaction in air travel. When passengers are confident and satisfied, the industry will be more competitive. Mr. Speaker, sir, Fiji and the Pacific rely heavily on our national airline for connectivity, trade, and tourism, especially given our geographically isolated and dispersed islands. In this regard, I want to also acknowledge the safety and security aspects of Fiji's aviation industry. The Civil Aviation Authority of Fiji leads Fiji's aviation safety and security obligations as a member state of the United Nations International Civil Aviation Organization, or ICAO for short. Mr. Speaker, sir, Fiji was recently awarded the ICAO Council President Certificate in a special ceremony at the 41st session of the ICAO Assembly in September of 2022. This was a recognition of the progress Fiji had made in improving the effective implementation of our safety oversight systems in compliance with ICAO standards. The Fiji civil aviation system is well above the global average and the highest in the South Pacific, excluding Australia and New Zealand. Mr. Speaker, sir, during my visit to KEF and Fiji airports, I met a lot of remarkable women who are playing very critical roles in the aviation industry. And it is my hope that these women inspire the next generation to take up a career in aviation. Mr. Speaker, sir, my job now as Assistant Minister for Tourism and Civil Aviation is to help nurture these critical sectors, nurture it to a point where it has even greater capability to support other sectors of our economy. In addition, Mr. Speaker, sir, the direct flights to Hong Kong and Japan are starting in April this year, and we expect to see a boost in trade with Asia. While we grow and sustain our traditional tourism markets, we want to diversify into emerging ones who we know have enormous potential. Mr. Speaker, sir, Fiji Airways also plays a critical role in the international trade through its A350 wide-body aircraft cargo capacity. In 2022, the company transported 30,000 tons of cargo, making growth of nearly 40%. Air freight of fresh produce and frozen fish have been the main commodities exported so far with Fiji Airways, projecting further growth in 2023. This is an area we want to grow, not just through the airline, but having the right airport infrastructure to support the leverage Fiji's position as a transshipment hub. Mr. Speaker, sir, I am also encouraged by Fiji Airways' commitment to become a sustainable airline. They have established an environmental, social, and governance committee who have embarked on a journey to achieving global standards in sustainability. Mr. Speaker, sir, great airline connectivity requires the necessary infrastructure. The coalition government will encourage closer collaboration between our airports, our national airline, and our border agencies. It will open up new digital and streamlined border processes, offering a swift and secure path into Fiji. These new facilities, Mr. Speaker, sir, along with other infrastructure improvements at airports and in air traffic management, will set a new standard for aviation across Fiji, ensuring travelers experience a level of service that we can all be proud of. In addition to Fiji's Airports Capital Investment Program, we will invest in technological advancements to enhance the safety of airside operations across all 15 airports and facilitate smoother journey through the terminals. Using video analytics, the Fiji Airports operations will have access to real-time aircraft operations data to make smarter, more proactive decisions. In isolation, these are incremental changes, but when they are combined, they become a truly transformational change in the way our airports are operated. Mr. Speaker, sir, as the coalition government, we fully intend on delivering to our people. With more of a strategic focus in the tourism sector, we can ensure everyone reaps the benefits. Our focus will no longer be just to promote Fiji in a way where tourists come, stay at a hotel, and simply lay on the beach. There is so much more to offer. The new tourism brand, where happiness comes naturally, speaks to that and reinforces what a special nation we are. We will take tourism to new regions so that every tourism dollar is spread. We will promote the new niche products such as sports tourism that can help achieve this. Mr. Speaker, sir, in November this year, we will host Spartan, which is a series of obstacle races And the event will take nearly 2,000 visitors to remote areas of Fiji so that communities too can benefit from this venture. This will be our first major tourism event since the pandemic, so we are quite excited. Mr. Speaker, sir, apart from sports tourism, we will place a lot more emphasis on ecotourism. Tourists are becoming increasingly conscious. They want more meaningful travel and activities that do not harm the environment. This is an area where we can leverage and should leverage as stewards of our land and resources. We will encourage tourism products where you can swim with the dolphins in the village of Silana, take a tour of a coconut farm in Savusavu, or trek in the inlands of Ra. The trend towards sustainability will remain in the long term, so we will invest more in this area, not only because it's what tourists demand, but because sustainable tourism is the future for all of us. It is my sincere hope, Mr. Speaker, sir, that during my tenure, I will serve the people of my country on the values of social justice and equality. It is my hope that our deliberations and the decisions we make in this august House guarantee our people the true democracy they rightfully deserve. May God bless us all, and may God bless Fiji. Navale.